Tuesday, friends. This is Laura and Lindsay. We are here coming to you again to chat some more about this book, The Power of Five, that has been so influential and helpful for us. And we hope that has been so helpful and influential for you too. And we tonight are coming together to talk about connecting and just the power of connection and what it can do in our lives and what it can do in our network marketing businesses. And this is something that Lindsay is quite an expert at. I think that we both have valued not only the connections we've made with each other back when we were in the dorms in Oregon State University in our bathrobes, but ever since, and all the people that we've been able to meet and bring into our lives has only enriched our lives in so many ways. So connection is huge and has been something we both have valued in a lot of different ways, haven't we?
Well, and yes, and we think about it, and Laura, you and I have talked about this quite a bit, that we were set up for the giftedness of connection long before network marketing entered our lives. And I think it was a huge asset to have when we started our network marketing businesses. That connecting was already something we enjoyed. But we attach a lot more meaning when we get to connect with people through the services or the products that we offer. And so I know we've both been able to grow in this, but I think it's pretty awesome. This is his second Power of Five, and that John feels so strongly about this. And this day in Atlanta at his leadership center, and the notes I took in the section, Laura, is one of my most favorite segments that he did that whole weekend. So I'm excited we get to speak with this, with the ultimate connector in you.
Here we go.
Well, and one of the main, in his introduction to this chapter, he kind of he always lays out, right, why he feels the topic is important. But the one thing I highlighted was that people can usually trace their successes and failures to the relationships in their lives. And isn't that true? I mean, the success of network marketing has come from my relationship with you, Laura, and your relationship you had with Kelly. And, you can trace everything. You can trace your favorite professors in school, your favorite teachers. There are people who speak to their favorite first grade teacher, or, that early elementary education teacher that set them up for success, or of course, a special parent or parent figure in your life. And so that made me jot back. And I mean, really quickly, you can pinpoint like the 5 most valuable relationships over the course of your life, and your successes can be tied back to them. And that is why connection matters. But we get the gift to do that for the people that come after us and the people we've yet to meet. Yes. And that there's some high stakes on that, right? Like, I want to bless as many lives as possible. I know you want to, Laura, and that's why we're on a mission. But I think it's pretty cool. He blazes through the second page of the chapter, principles that he feels, from winning the people, I believe is how he words it. And we encourage you guys to go through those winning principles. We won't list them off here on the call for you, but they're pretty valuable. And I would highlight or circle those little dots that you think are the most important to you, or the ones you want to work on the most, because they're pretty real. And he shortened them nice and sweet, didn't he?
Yeah.
In his explanation. Yes.
Well,
so
before we go, we're going to talk about the different practices on how to connect, and he lays it out in some really tangible ways. We're going to chat about it. But one of the last sentences before he goes into the practices that he states is, as you incorporate more and more of these practices into your daily work, you will see steady improvements in your people skills, as well as growth in your network marketing business. And if you are somebody who's sitting there thinking, I am not like you two, I do not like to connect, I don't really like people that much, or I'm shy and I'm quiet, or, all those excuses that people use to kind of segment themselves out of this whole tribe of people that love to connect, and group of, type of personality that loves to meet new people and have new conversations, just know there's always room to grow. And that's one of the things I love so much. We talked about last week was growth and the power in growth, and how you will always want to be growing. Well, it's the same thing when it comes to connecting, in terms of you can always change. You can always become a better connector. You can always have better practices. This is something you can always just evolve in. And so give yourself grace when you're starting out, when you're incorporating all this stuff. It's only going to get easier and easier. So let's dive right in.
Well, and it's intentionally putting yourself in the positions to connect with others, right? So if we're hiding in our home, or hiding around our normal little niche or group, and we're never in the position to grow in our ability to connect and build relationships. So getting out of that comfort zone, as always. Yes. So he summarizes, you guys, we know there's a lot of lists and there's a lot of numbers in this chapter. And we mentioned in the very beginning that John likes his lists, and he likes his that's how he methodically shares his knowledge. But he boils it all down to 2 different connecting principles that within that have a great deal of information. So Laura, you want to kick off practice number 1?
bet. It's practice the value of connecting with people. So as he says, as a kid in junior high, I began to see the value of developing my people skills. And that everything we accomplish in life is with and through people. Therefore, the ability to connect and create relationships with others is the most important skill we learn. And the coolest thing about network marketing is it is a relationship business. It is all about who do you know and who do your people know. And so not only do you get to connect with tons and tons and tons of people over your network marketing journey, especially if you want to really be successful and grow your team, but through those connections is the only way that you will ever be able to be successful. So practicing the value of connecting with people will be essential in your success in our industry. And so he kind of goes into a lot of different ways on how we can practice. The first is just kind of that first little bullet point, I think, is just practice the value of connecting and how important it is to practice. And who do you want to connect with, all of that.
More importantly, yeah. Much more importantly, who you want to be connecting with, right?
I know. And that's, we've learned that so much in our journey. And I think Lindsay and I were naturally attracted to a certain type of person that we wanted to connect with. They call it in our business, people often use the term avatar for the type of person you want in your network marketing business, or that you want to connect with, someone that'll add value, that's like-minded, all these different things. But what I think Lindsay and I didn't realize we've done throughout our lives is we kind of look for people like us to connect with.
Yeah. And that's exactly right. It's finding your niche. Who are your favorite type of humans? What age range, parents or not, career specific or not, height, same interests. And, when Laura and I first met, we had very, very identical interests, and we were both in the same position, right? Freshmen in college, just moving into our dorms. And so it's looking and finding people with your niche is going to be much more rewarding than trying to work for something that maybe you don't, or someone that you don't resonate with. So I think that's a really good point. And I love that he mentions in this value principle that having relationship skills is one of the best assets you can have versus education, classes, degrees, grades. And he mentions that right away. And there really isn't a point in your life where you're taught relationship skills, unless maybe you go into ministry or you go into some sort of training with your company where you're working directly with people. But most of us, I know in my schooling to become an eye doctor, certainly didn't have any relationship training. And trust me, I had colleagues that were really bad with other people and really awkward and bad around patients. It's an important asset to have. And I just love that he points it out. It's more important than anything else. Because how cool is that to know?
I agree. And he says that the people who make the most difference in your life are not the ones with the most money, the most credentials, and the most awards. They're the people that have connected with you, invested in you, and care about you the most. So it's cliche, but it's true. The people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So that's what we are going to go into is practice. It goes right into number 2, and that's practice valuing people and letting them know it. Lindsay is so good at that. The queen of letting people know how much she cares right there. It makes a huge difference. Oh, Lindsay, am I frozen? Am I back? Are you back? Am I back?
Oh my gosh. Were you frozen? I was frozen. Or you were frozen on my end.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. We have a thunderstorm going through. So internet.
Well, you were not making a funny face, was I?
So yes, I'm the queen of valuing people, but letting people know how much you value them. I think that you're very, very good at that.
So as are you.
Yeah,
the best.
Well, I could be better. Again, we could all be better. I'm getting better at balancing everything. So don't feel like you have to master all of these things, but start little by little. And if you hear us say anything that you want to incorporate, take notes, write down names of people that you're thinking of when we're talking right now, because I guarantee you might jump off this call and forget if you don't do it right now. So make sure that you either take notes on your phone or write down, oh gosh, I need to reconnect with that person, or I need to send this person a note, or I need to, jump on a call with this person. Just as a side note, as we're going through this.
Yes, that's a great suggestion. Did you start with number 1? Did I miss it at all?
Nope, go ahead.
Okay. Well, this is just letting people know. And like you said, this is the art of just gratitude, letting people know that you need them. And, that's verbally, that's with gifts, that's with cards. But in our industry, it's really important because it takes a team and we all work together, and we need Laura and I mean, we love our corporate staff. I mean, we shower and pour into our corporate staff because we need them just as much as we need our business partners and we need our customers. And, one of the things I did last holiday was I sent a thank you card to all of my longtime customers. These were not business partners, these were customers, but we need all of them. And so it's just letting people know that you need them and that there's no rules to that, right? And I think it's one of the many reasons that you'll look at your top income earners in your company or successful leaders, and they value people, but they let them know that. And that segues right into number 2, where it's just saying those things in front of others. So it's the art of edification. And I remember a long time ago, Laura, you and I did a training on edification. I think we might have been in Bend, Oregon. We were somewhere, but edification was actually one of the topics because it's important to know how to do that. And a lot of our day jobs, we aren't used to doing that. So, edifying your employee, edifying your staff, but edifying your business partners. And on social media, we have a great platform to do that. But even like on calls, I did a Facebook Live interview with one of my teammates the other day. And of course, I edified her in front of her entire network. She deserves that recognition. And I want people to see that. And Laura, this is just, we built a team culture on this. So these are just so simple for some of us, but a lot of us need to learn it as we go.
Yes. And I learned this, my husband is very good at words of affirmation. So I see him do this all the time. He's very good at complimenting people, and he'll just say whatever that positive thing is that is in his mind when some of us might think it, but forget to say it. So I'm grateful that I've had his example, but
John's extraordinary at that. Yeah. He's so great. Whenever he sees any of us, he is full of compliments. He's really, but he's natural at it.
He loves to be able to add value to people in that way. And then it goes in number 3 is practice adding value to people every day. So there are 5 things that you can do every day that'll help you connect with people and increase your influence with them. And he just kind of goes through like an everyday I will statement that you guys could either write or copy. I would suggest if you're, again, having trouble connecting or want to deepen your connections with people, maybe print out this list and put it on your mirror, write it on the back of your phone, something. But he talks, number 1, value people. Number 2, think of ways to add value to people. Every morning, look at your schedule and ask yourself, who will I see? How will I add value to them? Do you want to take number 3?
Yeah, look for ways to add value to people. And when you start practicing this, it actually becomes natural, right? Like we have to be intentional about it in the beginning, but look around, and again, social media is such a platform to add value, to share things you love, to ask for questions, to get value from others. But I also, Laura, after we learned about this from John in Atlanta, took it to my own home. I'm like, oh my gosh, how can I add value to Corey's life, my husband? How can I show or ask for value from my kids? And just recognizing and just edifying the value that they give. Go get this for mommy, or go feed the dog, things like that. But they're adding value to my life and to make sure I express it. So it doesn't have to be big things. It can be. And what you offer with your company and your products are really big value add. But we need to think even broader than that to help grow our level of connecting. And that's really what he's saying, and do things that add value to people. So, for those of you that have read the 5 love languages, this might be acts of service. So what can you do that can add value? And again, if this is something you're not doing or it sounds scary, start in your own home, and then you can start working your way out to your team and your customers and potential customers if it's not organic and natural. And then, Laura, encouraging others to add values to others. Again, if you do it consistently, it's going to become easier and easier, but that's a little bit harder. But I think in network marketing, and I know within our community and our team, we just try to lead by example so that others are encouraged to do what it is we get to do, right?
Yes. No, I 100% agree. And I think the word consistent is huge. If we consistently do things, it will be duplicated as people continue to watch us and see what we're doing. So it's so important you lead from the front. But all of these things, again, what I hope you guys are seeing is that everything he talks about in this book not only is going to richen and deepen your life, but will help you become a better person. The only way that you can be successful in network marketing is to be a really awesome person and to add value, love on people, and do all these things and grow. There's so many positive things. I hope you're picking that up as you're looking through this. And number 4, John does so well, and it blows my mind how he has the ability to do it, because I've been very drained trying to do this. This is something I need to get better at and keep practicing, but it's practice walking slowly crowd. He really loves to be approachable, to make connections, eye contact with people, ask people their names, their stories, just be willing to listen and be that figure that's out there and that seems within reach, not someone who can only see on stage or that you could only, he wants people to feel that connection with him by walking slowly through the crowd. And I just think it's something that's so admirable and I need to get better at.
Well, he's so stinking good at it. If you've ever seen John Maxwell in any setting, big or small, he shakes everybody's hand. He gives everyone the half hug. His slogan is, "Hi, I'm John, I'm your friend," and he means it. But that morning at breakfast, he sat with us at the table. He came and sat down at our table, out of all the tables he could have had breakfast at this particular morning when we were in Atlanta, and he sat down and had conversation with us and asked us questions. Like, no, we should be asking you questions. And if you think about famous people, like really famous people, whether it's an actor, actress, singer, who have you seen like hang out with the people like us, and who takes the backdoor entrance, and like Laura said, you only see on stage, and what kind of person do you want to be? That's obviously a big scale that we won't be at, but there's still some pretty big scales in a lot of network marketing companies, and it's important to just love on everybody and give everyone that time, whether they contribute to your income or not, right? Because that's a reality of it, and that means so much to people. People will always remember what you do and how you act. And I think that's an awesome thing.
Well, that goes into number 5, and you said it, is practice asking questions well. And that's something he just exemplified so clearly for us when we were in Atlanta. And I love this statement. He has it in bold for a reason. And I just think it's so profound. And it even just hits me again today. I need to incorporate more connecting into my business now, because it's like people connect when they understand, but they commit when they feel understood. And that's what's taking the time to ask the questions and to listen. And we do get busy, and teams can get bigger or, diluted in the sense that there's a lot of people to try to connect with, but making the time always pays off. Always, always. So I love that.
Think of any customer you've ever started, it's really because they've been seen and heard and understood. Yeah. And they trust that you care. And that doesn't happen overnight. That doesn't happen with one-word text. That doesn't happen oftentimes instantly. But the questions, he says, unlocks the key to a better relationship. And one of the things I say to every single potential customer or person in my life, Laura, is how can I help you? I have a series of questions that will better help me help you. And so I want to know what someone's work schedules look like, fitness schedule, diet schedule or not, or, who lives in your home with you? Do you have kids? Do you have a spouse? Do you live alone? All of those things help us in the health industry, help others. But we have to kind of ask those probing questions, and we want to explain to them why am I asking so many questions? It's to help you, and it's to build those foundational blocks for the relationship I'm growing with you. And so, but this is a learned practice, right? Like we talked a lot more in the beginning than we asked questions.
Yes.
It's scary when you think about, when you start this industry and how self-centered it almost is.
I know. Well, it is. And you want to tell your story and get your message out there instead of taking time to, maybe they've come to you for a reason already. They've seen something that they're interested in. So asking customers, again, helps you become so much better of a person.
Absolutely. It's a good one.
So number 6 is practice discovering and developing your connecting strengths. We, as a team, did something called Strength Finders. The Gallup Strength Finders test that breaks your personality and just kind of who you are down into 34 strengths. So nothing is ever weakness. There's just higher strengths versus lower strengths. And there are some connecting ones within that. So it's relational ones. So it's really good to understand there are people on our team who literally have no relational strengths. And there are leaders on our team who are completely all about relationship. And so it's something that anybody can get better at, and everybody will have to connect in one way, shape, or form in order to build a successful business. But just know if you're looking at some of your strengths and you're thinking, gosh, I don't feel like I'm made up to be the best connector. You can get better, and you can find ways that you could still be authentically you, but have, great connections with people at the same time. So.
And finding those around you with those strengths too. And I think that was the value, Laura, of our whole team doing this, everyone that was in leadership at the time, and learning our strengths. So we understood that about one another, and then doing collaborative efforts, right? If communicating strength or connecting strength isn't strong for you, but it is your next best business partner, then put both of your strengths together, and someone's going to connect really well in that situation. But it's such a cool test. And again, it's Gallup Strength Finders for those who have never heard of it before. And how cool is it that Woo is one of John's? Because it's one of our top strengths too. You and I, it's one of our top 5.
Yes.
And it doesn't surprise me about him. I love that it's fun to get to know people like that. I love that he shared that.
Yeah, and that's what he ends that with saying, what are your strengths? Take time to talk about them. And if you can't identify them, ask your friends, ask your family what they see in you, because it's good for you to understand the good aspects about yourself, because we're so quick to say what's wrong or what we can get better at. But it's nice to be reminded of those good strengths that we do have. So if you can't come up with them, make sure you ask people around you.
Absolutely. Great suggestion. And then number 7, practicing and identifying the 7 motivations of people. So this was powerful. He mentions here there's a difference between working hard and working smart, which we all know and say, but what does that really mean? And that boils down to, understanding what motivates not just you and one business partner, but what motivates the most important people in your life and your organization. And I would involve and include spouses in this too, because what motivates my husband, Corey, is not what motivates me. And, it can be very different. And as the older your kids get, you can really start to identify with that too. I'm sure you can think of like Scarlett and Miller and what their main motivations are. But from a business standpoint, he runs through just a beautiful list. And I had never really thought of this or heard of this, Laura, before he spoke to this. Had you really thought about what drives people or what motivates?
No, not necessarily. No.
Well, and he had us in Atlanta rate, and I'm trying to remember at the end of this chapter. Oh yeah, he does. Yes. To rate where you fall between these 7 levels of motivation, or what type of motivational person are you. Go think about it for yourself. So that's a great action item to do after you've read this chapter and listened to our call. But Laura, should we run through them or speak to our favorite? What do you think here?
Speak to our favorite. I don't want to.
Okay.
Yes. 5 more minutes. So I think, maybe just speak to our favorites.
Mm-hmm. Well, so my number 1 strength is achiever. Gallup Strength Finders. So my motivation is to master or excel my skills. And Laura's probably dying right now because anybody close in my life knows that about me, is it just this level of type A or achiever, just wanting to be good at what you do or your skills. However, this is not the best motivation when you're new to something or really bad at something. So for example, I had to learn how to ski a couple of years ago as an adult, not easy. And I'm still trying to learn how to golf as an adult, not easy. And these are things that I wish I was already good at. And because I'm so bad at them and I like to be good, I just don't want to do it. So think in your business, like if you're not good at connecting or not good at stepping out of your comfort zone and going to that connecting event or networking event, so instead you just ignore it, it's not going to be good for you or productive. So it's important to know what motivates you the most, but we still want to be challenged within these motivations. So Laura, what's your, what motivational factor do you identify with?
Well, there's a couple that definitely I identify with, but I think one of the biggest ones for me is autonomy. I am a terrible employee, but I'm an incredible employer. I was fired from an ice cream store in high school. I don't do well working for other people. I want to be on my own. And he has this table that just speaks to my soul that I just want to just go through really quick. And it's when it's your dream versus when it's someone else's dream for you. So when it's your dream, it will provide wings to your spirit. But when it's someone's dream for you, it will be a weight on your shoulders. When it's your dream, it will fire you up. When it's someone else's dream, it drains your energy. When it's your dream, it will fulfill you. When it's someone else's dream, it will fulfill others. And then when it's your dream, you want to do it. When it's someone else's dream, others want you to do it. And that's what I had spent the majority of my life in, that employee mindset, having to work for other people, having to do other things. And, when I found network marketing, I was at this point of trying to decide where I wanted my life to go. We needed more money. So the financial motivation was there. I did want the fun, and I do like to get better at things like you. And I love relationships, all these things. But I think the biggest thing that spoke to me was I could be my own boss. I could set my own hours. I could work as hard as I wanted. And what I realized is when I stepped into this role, I excelled more than I had in any other job, any other place, because I finally felt free to do it how I wanted, to really go for something. And it was all about, what my dreams and where I wanted to go and who I wanted to help and the lives we could change. So autonomy was a big one for me. And I didn't realize it until I stepped in to this industry.
Right.
that would be a motivator for me. So,
and how successful it would be for you. And that was really what drove you the most in terms of motivation. And it still does. Like, that hasn't changed, Lori. That's what you still love about this. And
I feel like when I have to do a PowerPoint for a presentation now, or
I know. Don't ever ask Lori to do a PowerPoint.
I don't do well on timelines. What? I know.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is the beauty. Is we do literally get to be our own bosses in life and in business. And that's one of the greatest blessings. And I think the other one that stands out the most for me here, just from a commonality standpoint, is people like to be recognized, and that can be a big motivator. That's why companies host, leadership rank bonuses and incentives, trips. I know so many of us go on amazing trips, or you get X, Y, and Z. The recognition with success it really drives a lot of people. And trips was a big reason. Is always still continually. We're going on one in a week.
We are. We're going to the Hamptons. Yes.
Yes. Baby. Really big driving factor, motivational factor. And that is why network marketing and other big corporations as well will kind of dangle those carrots, so to speak, because they know it's going to lead to action. But it is also important to recognize on a small scale. And again, we built a community and culture on this in Isagenix and within our team. And we love recognizing people, but that might be a simple text. Hey, like Laura wrote me on Saturday and said, have a great event today, because I had a big local event, and it meant the world to me, because it's like, oh, they remember I'm working and I'm doing something. Or it might be a social media recognition, or it might be just, flowers. I mean, it can be anything and everything, but it doesn't have to be costly either. It is, but if that's going to motivate someone to do it again and do it again, then those are the activities we want to be doing for our teams and for the important people in our life, and spouses too.
Yes, exactly. Actions that you want to see more of. It's so important.
Yes.
It's men die on the battlefield for recognition. It really, like, deep in the core of your soul, there's something that people want to be valued in that way and be recognized for their efforts. So that's one of the most fun things I get to do in my job. We get to just recognize people all the time, and it's really fun to do.
It really is the best activity we get to do in network marketing. So we encourage you to find and know your motivation, but know that of those closest to you as well. It'll only enrich you and help you become a better human, which after all is the goal through this series and through this book.
Yeah,
so we want to say this. Oh, what was that?
I really want to add something real quick. If you are feeling still kind of like, oh my gosh, I'm so not like you guys, or this connecting thing is still so tough for me. John has 3 great books that he lists at the end that he's written. Winning with People by John Maxwell, 25 Ways to Win with People, and Everyone Communicates, Few Connect. So he has 3 books. He's that passionate about this topic, which has obviously led to his immense success and all the lives he's been able to change. So if that's your motivation to have that immense success and to change as many lives as possible, especially through network marketing, I would highly suggest you might grab those books and dive in a little deeper. It's on page 49 of this one. If you need those.
Right. It's a really good mention. You don't need to go do research on how you can learn to become a better connector. Just grab those books from Amazon and rock and roll with them, because they're excellent. They're great for team members too. Yes. We want to give a quick hello and mention to Miss Chelsea Wade. Oh, sorry. Oh, Lordy. Sorry, guys. I don't know why my phone rings on my computer when I'm sitting here. Anyway, we want to give a quick shout out to Chelsea, who could not join us today for this special chapter. She loves you all. She's an extraordinary connector. We'll see her next week. But she's doing some awfully important mom duties in this moment. So, Chelsea, we love you, and we'll see you next week. Laura, thank you for your time. Appreciate you all.
All right, we'll talk to you soon. See you guys soon.
Bye-bye.